Hi, it's Megan, and today we're going to go green and make a shopping bag, much like the one here. We'll also make a small bag to keep it in for when we need to go shopping. Here's the fabric I chose to use. You can use whatever you want, but a simple cotton works perfect. Now this fabric is 44 inches wide, and you're going to fold it into fourths to make it easier to cut. Then you're going to line it up and cut a piece 17 inches. This one is going to be for the outside, and you need another piece for the lining. Now that I have my two pieces, one for the outside and one for the lining, I'm going to sew them in a bag shape. It works out nice that you have this long width that can act as one side of the bag. And that will be the bottom. So all you have to do now is right sides together. I'm going to pin up the two sides. It's going to look long now, but we're going to make a bottom of it so it can hold groceries and other boxed items. First, we're just going to sew a straight stitch down both sides. And I like to chain stitch. Now once you have the straight stitch done, you need to do a zigzag or overcast stitch just to keep the seam there in case something heavy goes in your bag. Sorry guys, but I have another correction. We actually need to take out the bottom of the inside, or the lining seam, because this is where we're going to flip out the bag right side out. So then we don't have any weird stitching on the outside of the bag. It'll just be on the inside. So I'm going to take just about 2 inches of this stitching out so we're able to flip the bag right side out. Now as you can see, you have your bag here, and it should look like this. You can see it. Here's the opening. And you're going to flip one of them the right side out of your bag. Now we're going to make the straps. Now for the straps, we're going to cut 2 strips 4 inches wide, and we're just going to use the same length of the fabric, which was 44 inches. You can use whatever fabric length you have. Now I don't have an ironing board, so I use a towel. So here's a really cool method, I'll just turn on my light here, that my mom showed me with making sashes. So you don't have to get them inside out at all, which is really annoying and frustrating. So all you do is you fold it in half once, and then you gotta make sure and iron it so there's gonna be a straight line all down the side. Or if you don't want to just pin it, you can iron in down both sides, but make sure not to iron down the crease that you made. Now that I have both sides ironed in, you can fold them both in and then fold on that crease again. And here you can see I have my strap with no turning out. And what you're going to do is sew along this side, and just to keep it for a cool effect, sew along this side also, and then it stays sturdy too. I'm going to make sure it's on a straight stitch here because I just did that zigzag stitch from the bag. Now when you're sewing the strap, it's really fun to use colors in your stitching in your thread, but since I have this funky fabric anyways, I'm just going to use black thread with it. So I have this all pinned, this whole strip here. I'm going to sew down both sides, the open side first, so I don't have to worry about the pins later. Now you can see I sewed both sides of the strap. Now since I have this big long piece, and I don't need a big long piece, I am going to cut it in half because I used the length of the fabric. So I'm just going to cut it in half here. Okay, listen closely because this gets really confusing. So here we have the lining, and this is just the way we had it before with right sides together. So here you can see the seam on the outside. And the lining should also have an opening on the bottom of it. And this is where we're going to flip the fabric, or flip the bag through the right sides. Okay, and now here we have the outside of the bag, the opening here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put the outside inside the lining. And we're going to match up the sides so that it lines up nicely. And we're just going to pin the two sides together. or the two seams you see here that you made on the sides of the bags. And make sure that you have the pins on the outside so they're all the same. And it's easier to pin and sew that way too. So here we matched up the two side seams together. Okay, so if you look inside here, we have right sides together. The lining is on the outside, and then the end back, or the front of the bag is on the inside here, okay? And we just have the two edges pinned on the outside here. Now for the straps. The straps get kind of difficult because you don't want them to be twisted at all, because then they're going to be twisted in your bag. So make sure that they're straight. And now we're going to put them inside between the two layers of the lining and the outside. And once again, make sure they're not twisted. So you can put them however far apart you like them. I like the grocery bag style. So see here, we have it inside the two linings so you can see all the right sides together. I like to keep them sticked out a little bit because you don't want to miss the strap and then they're not in the bag at all. And okay, so now we have the two straps poking out. We have the sides pinned, which is the yellow. And all the pins are on the outside around the bag here. Now what you're going to do is sew around here where you have the pins around the top opening of your bag, the lining and the straps. Now comes the fun part. We get to pull our bag right side out. So we have our straps and we sew it around the edge, and make sure to do the zigzag or overcast stitch. Here's our hole on the outside, and we're just going to pull it through here. So what I'm pulling right now is going to be the outside of the bag. Oh, here's the strap. So now we have this really big, long bag. And we're not going to have to worry about the hole in the lining because we're going to make it into a more boxy shape. Now we're going to flip it out. So now we have the lining on the outside. Really cool trick that I learned from my mom also. And make a triangle, a right triangle. So the seam is straight down right here. So I have my hand inside. Make sure that both the lining and the outside are in that right triangle. So what we're going to do is sew right along this line down here. And make sure to sew and overcast to keep that extra hole. So what I'm going to do is use my fabric scissors, and I'm going to cut off this triangle. We're going to keep this triangle to measure the other side exactly the same. And see, this is the one with the hole in it, and it's so awesome because we don't have to worry about sewing that up, because when we do the box effect, it's not going to matter. It's just going to sew it. We're going to cut off the edge anyways. And I'm going to use this triangle that I cut off as a guide. So just like the other one, I straight stitched and I did a zigzag stitch, and we are going to cut off the excess triangle on the edge here. So as you can see, our bag here has these two edges. They're nice and wide, hold lots of groceries. Flip our bag right side out. You can see I have some cereal, and here's the boxy shape that it holds. And off you are into greener shopping. And happy sewing and happy green shopping.